Tom Hardy is firing on all cylinders right now.
Tom's able to jump right into the action. It's crazy.
The action that we're setting from Venom is really distinct from most other comic book movies.
There's lots of motorbike work, lots of car work, lots of fighting, lots of wires. This is a huge stunt-driven piece.
The apartment fight is the start of a fantastic action set piece in which Eddie is pursued through San Francisco.
You are making us look bad. I will take care of this myself.
Venom's the puppet master, and what's amazing is it's so easy to describe that, but then to actually figure out how to realize that is a lot harder.
This is kind of the first time in our movie that we kind of see Venom come out. And so there was a whole bunch of thought process that went into the whole design of this fight.
We spent a long time trying to work out what that would be, both in terms of rough animations that we did and also doing concept art that kind of gave us an idea of what it would be. And then this very much informed the way that the stunts would work.
So what would it be then?
So it's
property, I'm no one's property. Guns go up. What are you doing? I'm putting my hands up.
Oh, hey.
Yep.
How are you?
Let's do it.
Yeah, cool.
Smart. I love working with stunts, but it's a challenge to bring alive two very different people, which I find quite exciting.
We kind of worked very early on with some, puppeteering kind of things, just playing limp and having, we had wires take over your body and trying to make everything awkward. And the beauty of it was once we got Tom involved, that was kind of what made it all come together.
So in choreographing the fight, we really try to bring out the contrast of the two characters within one body in this action sequence. So Venom doesn't care much, a very selfish, powerful character, and Eddie, who doesn't want to fight the mercs that come in.
Oh.
What are you doing?
I'm putting my hands up.
Why would you do that?
Because it is a very sensible thing to do.
Once Tom got his hands around it, he was able to figure out both those characters.
When he actually performed it, it was much better than I ever could have really thought it could be. And it's all because he's just so committed to every moment that he's on camera.
Set. Ready, and action.
Oh my God, that's so sticky. Can you breathe? I'm so sorry.
Good. That was great.
Tom Hardy's a man's man and likes to get his hands in there, but it's not human strength, it's superhuman strength because it has like a symbiote in it. So we had to make everything a little bit bigger and over the top, and so that was where we used a lot of rigging. I have a great rigging team that I worked with for years, and so we rigged them all up in the set and worked hand in hand with the construction department to kind of, make slots in places and try and, hide all of our rigs to make them look as big and as spectacular as possible to kind of amp up the human factor to it to make it kind of a Venom factor.
How did you do that?
Apparently, I have a parasite.
The apartment's been trashed. He then leaps out of the building and ultimately ends up on a motorcycle being chased by a squadron of radio-controlled drones which are armed with explosive warheads. And so second unit is going to go out and shoot some amazing stunt work. And then we'll be working into that in the visual effects, bringing Venom back into the shot.
What the?
Eddie Brock is being controlled by Venom at this point, and so he is scared shitless because Venom's doing some pretty wild things with this motorcycle. So we did a lot of stuff in Atlanta, doing some really cool gags, and now we're here finishing it up, tying San Francisco in because San Francisco is the chase city that this is supposed to happen in.
It's been pretty much a stunt decathlon for the last month and a half. I've been riding over top of cars, getting bombs going off in my face. I've had cars sliding around me, doing head-ons with diesel trucks, head-ons with cars. I'm having such a fortunate time to work with SPIRO, RAZATOS, and Andy Gill and Jack Gill, who I work for a lot, but they're the best team in Hollywood. They just do everything correctly. They're real safe, and I'm happy to be part of the team.
SPIRO was an amazing director of stunts, but he's truly an artist in the way that he wants to push the boundary and do things which bring a huge amount of flair to movies like these.
We are jumping the motorcycle over a fence and down this one of the steepest hills in San Francisco. And we have Robbie Madison, one of the premier motorcycle jumpers in history. He's got world records and everything else. So this is going to be a piece of cake for him.
That is a dead end!
Not for us.
I'm on a high right now because it was so exciting. I did the jump twice, and then the third time we had the cars there, I heard the big bang. It was pretty wiring. For this jump, the special effects guys have done some amazing work. They've turned a KTM dirt bike, which is what I normally ride, into a Ducati. To an untrained eye, you wouldn't even notice it. Even looking at it right next to each other, they've done a great job, but it allows me to do this jump a lot safer. I'm super stoked to be doing my first film in America and be in the streets of San Francisco. It's always been a dream to jump down them, and now I'm getting to do it with the police watching.
The thing that made this scene a little different from others was that we have a lot of CG involvement. So these tentacles that kind of come out, there was a lot of stuff that people didn't see. And, our awesome visual effects department is gonna, make the whole rest of it come to life.
We have this really cool shot where actually Venom turns the motorcycle with the SUVs chasing him up a really steep hill towards Taylor Hill. And as he jumps it, Eddie loses control of the motorcycle and flies away from the motorcycle. And now he's flying up in the air, and then Venom reattaches him with tentacles, brings him back to the motorcycle.
We shot Tom and some stuntmen on the bike a few days ago against blue screens. We're going to be trying to match those angles, that performance, as well as the backdrop of San Francisco to show the same stunt.
And eventually, at the end of the sequence, we get to meet Venom fully formed for the first time. So when we're creating Venom on the set, and when we really need everyone to understand how big Venom is, how he's moving, and crucially, where to look, we have a stunt performer, stand-in, he's 6'7". By having Kyle, we can stage the action, and Ruben can direct the performance in the same way that he might do if we actually had Venom on the set.
It's a little strange to figure out how to put Tom in the middle of an action sequence and reacting as he has no idea how it's happening or why his hand's moving. But getting to work with Tom Hardy is just such a privilege because he elevates every scene that we've done in this movie. And so we can really lean into that visually and make it as dynamic and visually interesting as we possibly can.
And action. One more, please. Reset.
Sorry, mate. I can only work with what I'm given.
So many snacks, so little time.
We're always putting reality in front of the camera. This is driven primarily by the stunts, by the performance, and visual effects built on top of that.
It's my job to try to get those, whatever's he's created in his mind on film, which is a fun thing to do because it's 99% your mind trying to put it together. And then you get the talented guys like I've got, and they actually make it work. And it's a lot of fun.
It was so awesome to watch that develop from the beginning to what it ended up being. It was a lot of fun for me, at least, to watch. And I think everybody's going to enjoy it.
I am Venom, and you are mine.
Let's go save the planet.
Venom is not all good, which is so much more interesting than a typical superhero.
Venom is unchecked fury.
This is a huge stunt-driven piece. Hi, Eddie.
Outstanding.
Did you know Tom Hardy has a Leonardo DiCaprio tattoo? That's right, after losing a bet to Leo, Hardy had to get Leo Knows All tattooed on his right arm. Apparently the two made a bet on whether Hardy would receive an Oscar nomination for his supporting role in The Revenant. Now, remember to click here below to subscribe, and if you like my shirt, you can get one for yourself in the link in the description.